Okay, so I'm gonna read this thing that's titled Anxiety and Depression. This is something I wrote. It's on my computer. I don't think I ever posted it anywhere. If I did, then someone's probably seen it. But I'm gonna get to reading it because it's rather long. To whom it may concern. How anxiety looks. Others see you as irrational, as making it up in your head, or as acting this way for attention. They do not understand, and they never will. They are lucky enough to be blissfully unaware of this feeling that grips you and makes you slip further and further down. They are happy. They get sad, but not like this. No. Never. Not like this. And this is why they don't get it. They can go out and be themselves without a blanket of fear keeping them from it. They don't feel like they have to hide part of themselves from others in order to be accepted. They don't have to settle for dealing with it. They don't hear it's all in your head all the time. Their problems are real because they aren't as frequent as this. They are seen as realistic and normal, so they are taken seriously. They complain about minuscule things. It's funny how people like this almost make you want to wish it on them. But they couldn't handle it. They'd kill themselves, and it's not proper to wish that on anyone. Especially if you know what it's like. If you want to know how it feels, how it really feels, this is how. Continue reading. How anxiety feels. This is for some of you who don't believe in anxiety, who have this part of you who believes it's all in someone's head. I assure you it isn't. I have it. I have not been diagnosed, but the things I've felt my entire life, the symptoms point to nothing else other than depression. Anxiety is a locking, gripping, everlasting, irrational fear of everything, everyone, of every situation you can think of in your head. No matter what you do or say or what you are about to do or say, you have Murphy's Law running through your mind. Just remember, anything that can go wrong will. It is not in my head. I have never made myself feel tense or scared of such things. I don't ask to be terrified to go into the grocery store alone. I didn't make myself so terrified of interacting with other human beings that I stammer and my voice shakes. I'm getting better since I'm out of high school, but here's what I felt while I was in high school. Imagine a young me. Should have been happy to be there, to start my future. But no. I swallowed hard. I felt tense. My back got a cold chill down it. I felt out of place, unwanted. I felt terrified that every little action I performed was being watched and ridiculed. It of course didn't help that I was the outcast. I was overweight also, and still am. My hands shook. I bit my nails. I even slept to escape it, I think. I mean, sure, I was tired. I wasn't a morning person like most high school students, but when I slept in school, it was the only time I wasn't scared. One word described how I felt. I felt scared. I felt endangered. I felt alone. I felt like I couldn't trust anyone. I sat down as low as I could in my chair, feeling like it was tighter on me than it was anyone else. And when I say tighter, I mean the chair and desk combination where it swings around one side, and it just felt really tight on me. I would shift my weight and hear it creak, thinking, oh God, now they'll be texting all their friends about how the fat bitch made the steel chair squeak. I stood up shaky, nearly ready to break down, as I was going nuts in my head. I was screaming. I couldn't escape. If I had to sneeze, I tried desperately not to. I was afraid I'd be laughed at for doing it. It's something natural that happens, and yet somehow I thought if I did it, I would be ridiculed. I had no confidence. I had to grin and bear it. I didn't like anything about my life then. I wondered if everyone felt this way. It became clear to me that they didn't. After all, they were thin. What did they have to feel anxiety over? They meaning everyone but me. I was the biggest kid in my class. Other kids went out for sports. I would have, but I couldn't stand the thought of fucking up in front of people and being blamed for an entire team's loss. I'd have killed myself with that kind of pressure. I did art. It was the closest thing to help I could get for whatever this was that I felt. When I drew scary things, I'm sure some people were concerned, but in some way it was what was in my head, trapped, terrifying me, and when I drew it, at least it had some identity. I didn't have a self, now that I think about it. What people were seeing wasn't me. It was my anxiety. my anxiety, my depression, and the defense mechanisms I carried with me. I was a host for a monster. A filth that I would not wish on my worst enemy. It ruined high school for me. As much as I blame the rumors that were said, or the mean people, a normal, sane person, a normal, sane, strong individual would have gone out and made friends anyways. A sane person wouldn't have assumed, because of what a few people said to them, that an entire school of several hundred students hated them. I mean, do you get what I mean? Another thing about this problem is that no one will understand you. They will blame you for it and say it's all in your own head. They will tell you any excuse is better than none at all. They are mean. They don't understand mental illness because they don't have it, so they don't believe it to be a reality for anyone else either. My parents do not sympathize with me on this when it comes to looking for or finding a job, because it does make it difficult. Though when I was going through it, I didn't have a name for it. I thought it was just who I was going to be. I thought I would be stuck with it. I'm not saying it's still not there, but since I'm away from school, I'm not as bad. But I still don't like being in public social situations. For instance, I went with friends to a restaurant for wings. We get there, and at first I was alright. But then I noticed I was the fattest girl at the table. This made me lose my appetite. That and the irrational notion and image in my head of me choking to death, because when my anxiety kicks in, my throat tightens and I have trouble swallowing. I've noticed this impairs my speaking and such. I don't know if anyone could tell, but I was a wreck. Soon the nice clothes I had put on in order to look good felt like rags. Or that I wasn't fit to wear them. Like I wasn't fit to be dressed up and go out in public. I wasn't having fun, and I usually don't. I feel pressured into so many things. And I know a lot of people say, leave your comfort zone. But what if you don't have one to begin with? Because you never know when your mood is going to swing from happy, mellow, decent to, I hate my life, kill me, I'm depressed and crying in a ball in my bed, and I'm a piece of shit who screws everything up. See what I'm getting at? It's not in my head. It never was. I'm sure people who complain about depression after a death are depressed. But being depressed is not depression. Depression keeps you from ever really being happy. It has its ins and outs, and it's difficult trying to capture this emotion. It's strange spilling my guts. I do plan on showing this to someone. I don't know who, though. Another thing about anxiety, it fucked up my first job for me, I'm certain. I worked at a store. A Dollar General store. Easygate, right? Nope. Not with this beast breathing down my neck, this poison in my environment. I literally feared every customer that walked in. I was afraid they'd ask me about something that I have no idea. I was scared. People would joke, you should smile, and I'd reply, I would, but my face would break. But in all honesty, I was terrified. Irrational, I know, but I'm being honest. I was afraid I'd fuck up. I was afraid I'd mess something up, and one of my bosses would get fired. I'd make a small mistake, and when break time came, I would go back into the break room and be nearly in tears. Like once I went to take a break, and I thought I was okay to do so. I had taken a break at that time every day. But apparently no one else was on the clock either. I didn't know this. I was new, okay? I should have accepted that in my head. I should have been able to... I should have accepted that in my head. I should have been able to move past it, but it still feels so bad. It still stings. I have cried over it before, I'm sure. I'm sure I will again someday. Something that small. I could have cost someone higher up their job. I went into the break room after being told about it, and no, the guy didn't scold me. He was very nice. I just wanted to cry and kill myself, because that's what anxiety does. It makes you hold on to the negative. It doesn't let you get over things, ever. Another thing about that job, it wasn't hard, and yet it felt like a competition, or like it was some impossible thing for me. I was only capable of fucking it up, which I did. I'm unemployed now. I'm not going to say why, but I only did work for about 4 months, and only one day out of each of those months. When I was let go of, which confuses me because they ask you on a job application whether you've been fired or fired from your last employer, I didn't know whether to say fired or something else. Bottom line, if you're not anxiety-ridden, if you haven't got depression, then thank your damn lucky stars. I was reading this a bit rushed, and this was written, I don't know when this was written. Let me go see if I can find when it was written. because I do want to see when I actually wrote that. Because since then, I've had another job, and again, anxiety fucked it up for me. Yeah, this was written in May of 2015 is when it was created. I got hired. Yeah, this would have been before I got fired from my other job. So maybe that's why this doesn't have about the other job on it. But yeah, my other job was also ridden with anxiety, and I felt guilty for every mistake I made. And again, the mistakes piled up rather than me moving on. I want to make this a thing where I go back through things that I've written in the past and read them. I may post this in the description. I may post the actual post in the description. I may make a link to it somehow, or however I'm going to do it. But thank you for watching. I hope that it helped somebody out there with anxiety to know they're not alone, at least. I am much better now. I'm not as anxiety-ridden as I was in the past, even, and I'm slowly getting better. And it's all a process of going into your own thoughts and stopping the negative ones from coming in. That's literally what you have to do. You literally have to learn the signs of the negative stuff coming into your head. And you have to fight it off before it gets to a point where you are tearing up, where you are crying. You have to slowly build that up. It's technically not suppressing it if you are dealing with it later on, but you can't let it interrupt your life. This video is getting to be way too long. I did not want this to be beyond 10 minutes, but that was a really long thing that I had to read again. Sorry if I mumbled. I will put it in the description so that you can read along. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you have any comments, any suggestions, anything you want me to write something about and read it, I'd be glad to do so. But yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to. Peace, and see you later. Have a good day.